Lepo pozdravljeni iz studia Ljubljana TV. Tukaj je napovednik za novo oddajo Moj odnos do samega sebe, prebojeno srce Slovenije. Z nami nocoj izjemen gost, gospod Swarner, ki je kar dvakrat premagal v narekovajih raka in res izjemna osebnost. Sean, what did we say in our TV show? What was the conversation about so that we animate our people to watch our TV show?
I would say we had a conversation that was a life-changing conversation to help people utilize their own perspectives, to see what's possible, and to shape their own futures.
Yeah, it was really inspiring, and I think people will get a lot of value in this conversation. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Se gledamo, torej, gledajte nas ta ponedeljek ob 17. na Ljubljana TV. Spoštovane gledalke in gledalci, prisrčno pozdravljeni v novi oddaji Moj odnos do samega sebe, prebojeno srce Slovenije na Ljubljana TV. Tokrat imamo priložnost slišati izjemno zgodbo, ki dokazuje, da je tudi nemogoče mogoče. Z nami nocoj je človek, ki je dvakrat premagal raka v narekovajih, čeprav so mu zdravniki napovedali le minimalne možnosti za preživetje. Pri le 13 letih je Seanu zdravnik napovedal le 10% možnost za preživetje, a je premagal Hodgkinov limfom. Nekaj let kasneje ga je doletela še ena redka oblika raka, Eskinov tumor, in Sean je znova zmagal. Po dveh neverjetnih bitkah z boleznijo se je odločil, da bo svoje življenje posvetil premikanju meja mogočega in navdihovanju drugih. Ustanovil je tudi fundacijo Cancer Climber Association, kjer pomaga bolnikom z rakom in njihovim bližnjim, da najdejo moč za premagovanje največjih ovir. Njegova misija je jasna: dokazati, da so z vztrajnostjo in pogumom mogoči prav vsi cilji. Ne le to, Swarner je kljub temu osvojil najvišje vrhove vseh 7 celin, vključno z Mount Everestom, in to z enim samim ključnim krilom. Presmučal je severni in južni pol, pretekel Ironmana in postal vir navdiha za milijone ljudi po svetu. Novembra 2024 je prišel prvič v Slovenijo, kjer bo predstavil svoj naslednji podvig. The Great World Race, oziroma velika svetovna dirka, v katerem bo v 7 dneh na 7 celinah pretekel 7 maratonov. Svojo življenjsko močjo in nepopustljivim duhom danes naš gost navdihuje milijone ljudi po vsem svetu. Izjemni Sean, ki prihaja iz Združenih držav Amerike, je torej tokrat prvič v Sloveniji. Ponovno pride v Slovenijo 12. oktobra 2025, ko bo gost dogodka Večer zmagovalcev in si bo oder delil številnimi izjemnimi in navdihujočimi gosti in glasbeniki, vsak svojo zgodbo o uspehu. Vstopnice za dogodek bodo prav kmalu na voljo, bo pa več informacij na spletni strani večerzmagovalcev.si. V čast mi je, da ga gostimo v studiu Ljubljana TV. Veselim se navdihujočega pogovora s Seanom Swarnerjem, človekom, ki je svojo zgodbo o upanju in vztrajnosti postal simbol neomajne človeške volje. Sean, welcome to our TV show, My Attitude Towards Myself, Awakened Heart of Slovenia. How are you?
I'm doing great. After that introduction, I'm thinking, what are they saying about me? All I understood was, I think, Večer zmagovalcev.
Yeah.
I understood Sean. I understood Swarner, cancer, climber, Hodgkin's lymphoma, Askin sarcoma, Everest, and then everything else was gone. I hope it was good.
Yeah, but you got the main stuff here.
I think so, and it sounded great. So thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thank you to come to our studio, to Ljubljana TV. Let's start with our interview. Your early life, as I said, was marked by a double cancer diagnosis that pushed most people to despair. How did you find strength and hope to keep fighting?
Interesting question. I found the strength and hope to fight because I wasn't focused on not dying. I was focused on living. And I remember the first cancer when I was 13 years old. I was 35 kilograms overweight. I was on my hands and knees on the shower floor. My hair was falling out in chunks and clogging up the drain, so the water was rising up. And I remember projecting into the future and thinking, in my family, it's my mom, my dad, my brother, my younger brother, myself. And I was projecting into the future, what would their lives look like without me in it? And I told myself, I can't do that to them. So I wanted to focus on pushing forward day by day and realizing that, yes, I'm going to have bad times, but I'm going to focus on the good times. And I'm going to focus on surviving and pushing forward and fighting for my life because of my family.
So this was the motivation to stay alive, to...
Absolutely. And it's also interesting what the human body is capable of when it's in that position, when it's in that situation. You know, people often ask, well, how did you do it? Well, oftentimes you don't know until afterwards what you're really capable of accomplishing.
Yeah, sure. The power of thoughts, of positive thinking, this is really now a lot of people say about this, but you are, let's say, a proof of this, that it works when you really set your mindset, set your goals, that you really want to live and not die, and that you have a motivation for your family, for your children, let's say.
Absolutely. Yeah, and you know, I may have done what I've done, climbed Everest. You might not be climbing Everest, but that doesn't mean your journey's any easier than mine. You know, we all have struggles, whether it's in a personal life, professional life, or maybe something you can't quite put into words. You just don't know what's bothering you that day. But with the right perspective, we can flip the script and talk to ourselves in a way that supports us as opposed to bringing us down.
Yeah. The subconscious mind is really powerful. And now scientists say that 95% of everything is the subconscious mind. So how do you, let's say, work on yourself? How did you manage to change yourself, your mindset, your beliefs, let's say, your emotions? I'm sure sometimes you were also in fear, in anger, in, let's say, these lower vibrational frequencies of emotion. How did you cope with this? How did you find this inner strength, let's say?
Well, you know, the inner strength came from, I think, my parents. I was a competitive swimmer before I got the cancer, and a competitive swimmer. I was always an athlete. And I remember I was 6 years old, 6 or 7 years old. I loved swimming breaststroke. So I remember I would dive in, you know, as kids do, and I'd touch the wall, and my mom or my dad would always be there picking me out of the water, and they would ask me two questions. Did you have fun, and did you do your best? Not, why didn't you beat Steve? Why didn't you beat this person? Why didn't you come in first? Did you enjoy it? Did you have fun? And did you do your best?
Nice.
So from the beginning, I was always focused on not being the best, but always being my best. And doing better that weekend at the swim meet than I did the weekend before, and slowly improving myself.
Yeah, to compete with yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It was always just my insides and how I wanted to improve who I was and improve my times a little bit better. And I think it all came from there.
Okay, but first diagnosis, then second diagnosis, let's say. Did you ever doubt your chances of recovery? Let's say doctor said that the chances are really small. How did you really went through all this, let's say?
It's interesting because no one has ever had Hodgkin's and Askins before.
Yeah.
And the chances of me surviving both of those cancers is roughly 0.000000001% chance. And they told me you have 14 days to live. How do you process something like that? You could give up and die. You could accept it and just lay there, and no one would blame you. In fact, many times I wanted to do that myself. You know, I wanted to say, I'm done, I can't do this. But I focused again on my family. I focused on how I was talking to myself. I focused on why I was doing it, and asking myself, after having the cancer, why me? Why me? Why me? You know, the second time around, like, what did I do wrong after going through the first one? Why did I get sick again? But after a while, you understand, asking those questions of why me, it doesn't change the fact that I did have it.
This is a victim.
Exactly. So how am I going to deal with that? No matter what situation you're in, no matter how bad it is, even if you can't control the situation, you can always control how you react to it.
Yeah, yeah.
And why would I lay there and feel sorry for myself? I don't know how long I'm going to live. I mean, I was supposed to die, you know, years ago. But I wanted to enjoy as much time as I had. Still do.
Yeah, yeah, sure. So what things you did, let's say, one is sports, what else did you did, like strategies that you overcame these two diseases?
It's interesting because there were times when, without getting too descriptive, I was vomiting for 36 hours straight because of the chemotherapy and the medicine. That was not a comfortable situation to be in. So what I did was, I visualized myself. I took myself out of that situation and put myself back in the swimming pool, swimming back and forth. And I visualized, vividly visualized myself swimming back and forth and touching the wall at the summer championship and coming out in first place. And getting to the point where I would actually hear, when I came up to breathe, I would hear the people cheering, "Go Sean, go Sean," and then it would disappear underwater. And then, "Go Sean, you got this." And I would make it so real in my mind that my body believed it.
Yeah, yeah.
So when the times were bad, I removed myself from the situation, knowing that those bad times were going to pass. It was only temporary. But then putting myself in someplace else, that gave me hope.
Yeah. Neuroscience now says that the brain does not know if you're just imagining something or really doing something. So this is this power. You change your belief systems, you change your neural nets, let's say, in your brain with this visualization, with feeling this, that this is already happened.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And if you change your perspective, you change your feelings, you change your thoughts and your emotions, you literally can shift your perspective and change your life.
Yeah, yeah. This is really, really
you know
powerful.
this.
Yeah, I work this with people also, yeah, to help them, yeah, to change the belief systems, the subconscious belief system, to help them manifest, yes, with the quantum field also, to connect with the, let's say, divine, with higher power, let's say, that made us alive. I believe in, let's say, God, in higher power, whatever you call it, divine, love, universe. What do you believe in, let's say, in this higher state of consciousness, let's say?
Oh, I absolutely believe there's something else. What exactly it is, I don't know. And I don't think anyone knows exactly.
Yeah.
You know, that's where faith comes in. So I call him the big guy. You know, I'm pretty close to him.
Yeah, nice.
And I think what I've gone through, I had a conversation with someone a number of years ago, and he looked at me and he asked me a question. He's like, "With everything that you've been through, how can you even believe in God?" It's like, with everything I've been through, how could I not?
Yeah, yeah, sure. I believe that every hard situation in our life is a gift. Let's say, is a gift. Maybe we don't see it at first, but later we see it. How we change, how we evolved our consciousness. That we change our perspective of life, what is really important, what is not important, let's say. How this cancer changed you?
How much time do we have?
We have around half an hour, I guess.
Try to put everything in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
How did it change? It made me appreciate life more. It made me, when you were in high school, most people from 13 to say 18 years old, their biggest fears and concerns are where they're going to sit at lunch, being popular, making it from class to class on time, or you know, your hormones are kicking in, you're growing hair in unusual places on your body. my hair was falling out. I was focused on survival. I was focused on living. So I would say the normal person going through those developmental years of their lives, they had a different perspective. They had a different focus. I was concerned about other things. So imagine going to bed 10 months, every single night, being terrified to close your eyes at night because you didn't know if you were going to wake up the next day. So it really puts into perspective what's important in your life. It's not being popular, it's not the nicest clothes, it's not the nicest shoes, it's being a genuine human being who loves life as much as you possibly can.
Yeah, and you're humble now, let's say.
Absolutely.
I can feel, yeah, your vibrations. So, yeah, the humbleness that everything is a gift in life. That, yeah, you appreciate everything that happens to you. You look differently. Let's say people, yourself. Maybe you love yourself more than before.
Interesting you mentioned that, because when I was 13 going through the first cancer, I will never forget looking at myself in the mirror and seeing my reflection and not even recognizing myself. And even now, when I look in the mirror, sometimes I see that young man who's overweight and who's bald from head to toe, and I'm like, who are you? You know, I don't know. So I'm still dealing with it, but it doesn't consume my life.
Yeah.
And as far as being humble, I try to, because of what I've been through. And the ego just gets in the way anyhow.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no point, because it's going through the cancers, and I'm sure what we'll get to next too.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I have always had a team. You know, cancer is not an individual disease. My family went through it with me. My friends went through it with me. We're all together, supporting one another.
Yeah. Let's say, what are your, with doctors, some experiences? How did they help you? How did this process go through operation? You have only one lung, né? This is really, and you went to Mount Everest. We'll come to that later, yeah? How is that possible? But how was your team supportive for your recovery, for your gaining health again?
I would say, when I had my oncologist come into the room, even now, most doctors come in, and I'm assuming you're not like, most doctors come in, they grab the chart, you know, and then they address the patient. We're human beings. Patients are human beings. So every time the doctor came in, the first thing he would always say is, well, hello, friend. You know, and that's so meaningful, because you instantly have that connection. Not, oh, hello, 0075D3. It's like, hello, friend. And I think that made a big difference.
It's
bedside
personal,
manner. It's exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it made a huge difference.
Yeah,
and that
you're
made me
not,
trust him.
Of course, that you're not a number, but you're a person, a human being. Yeah. Okay, we will continue after a break. Tako da se vidimo čez nekaj trenutkov. Lepo pozdravljeni v drugem delu naše oddaje, Moj odnos do samega sebe, prebojeno srce Slovenije. Z nami izjemen, krasen gost iz Amerike, Swarner. Pogovarjava se o res izjemni zgodbi, moči, poguma, vztrajnosti, volje. Yes, Sean, we said that the attitude of, let's say, a doctor is really important, that he or she treats you as a person, human being, not a number. What can you say more, let's say, about this? How did this help you to recover, to be healthy again?
I think it also goes, having that bedside manner, being friendly, being approachable, made me trust the doctor. A lot more than someone who didn't respect me as a human being. And because there was that mutual respect, I'm going to trust the doctor. And I also think it goes back to when I was first diagnosed. My parents never said the word cancer. They said, Sean, you're sick, you know, but we're going to do everything we can. You're going to get cured. Everything's going to be okay. And I think because I implicitly trusted them, I thought it would be true. And because I trusted that, I believed it. And I think that belief changed everything.
Yeah. What you believe, you become.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I wasn't fighting for my life. I was just sick in my mind. I was like, okay, well, let's get better.
Yeah, yeah. Really, really nice. Everything is mindset. Everything is a belief.
Yeah.
Also, the placebo-nocebo effect is, let's say, in medicine. If you believe that really something will help you, it will help you. If you truly believe with all your being, and also for negative stuff, if you think something will harm you, it will harm you.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
If I walked in here and I thought to myself, this is going to be a horrible experience. Guess what? It's going to be a horrible experience. If I come in here and think to myself, this is going to be great. I'm going to meet an amazing person. We're going to have a good time. Guess what's going to happen? I'm going to meet an amazing person. We're going to have a great time.
Yeah, yeah. Everything is the power of our thought.
Absolutely.
Let's say about your team, also people that helped you, and also the climbing to the mountains, let's say Mount Everest. What was it like climbing there with one lung? What mental, physical techniques did you use to overcome this, let's say, such extreme conditions?
What I learned going through the cancers, I used on Mount Everest. One of them was, again, going back to vivid visualization. Every night, every single night for probably 10 months, I would lay in my bed right before going to sleep, and I would visualize myself taking the last 4 or 5 steps to the summit of Everest. Not from a bird's eye view, but from first person point of view. And I would hear the sound of the snow crunching under my feet. I would smell the ozone. I would feel the radiation on my face. And I would use as many senses as possible.
Yeah.
And a lot of people using visualization, that's where it stops. But I took it a step further, where when I got to the summit, how did I feel? That's the key, the key component. How did I feel reaching the summit? And when I finally did make it up there, I collapsed to my knees, and it was almost like deja vu. In my mind, I thought to myself, I've been here before.
Yeah. You've been there with your thoughts.
Absolutely. I had been to the summit of Everest thousands of times before physically making it up there.
Yeah.
And it works. And I used it for the cancers. I actually visualized myself in my body destroying the cancer. So you mentioned that the mind and the body have this tremendous connection, and it doesn't know the difference between reality and vivid visualization. And it works.
Yeah, for you, surely it worked.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you have to be consistent, let's say. You have to really, it's not enough 1, 2, 5 times, but consistency. Many people, let's say, are not so consistent in what they do. They do a little bit, and then it's not results at first, and then they say, it doesn't work. How did you find this courage, this strength to really do it every single night?
Knowing that consistency is more important than intensity. You know, how do people get big muscles? How do they get strong? They don't go to the gym 1 day a week and work out for 7 hours. You know, they go for 4 or 5 days and work out for an hour. It's the same thing with our minds. And most people, so many people are focused on building these muscles, but this is the most important muscle that we have in our body.
Yeah, the mind.
And people neglect to actually use it. If you don't work it out, it's not going to work for you. So I found the strength by knowing what I was doing. No one had ever attempted before, and people told me it was impossible with 1 lung to climb Everest. That also gave me fuel to prove them wrong, but I wanted to do it because I knew how difficult it would be, and if my body was ready, I had to make sure my mind was ready as well.
Everything is connected, let's say. The mind, the body, soul, let's say. Everything is connected.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And let's say you climbed Mount Everest, you prepared. And I guess the same was with other mountains. You used the same procedure.
I did. I used the same procedure, but it also went a little bit deeper. because when I was sick, I didn't have much hope. I hadn't seen other people in my situation. I hadn't seen many cancer survivors. So one of the things I did was I found a deeper purpose for the summit, a deeper meaning behind the actual action. And the entire time on Mount Everest, I had a flag that was about this big. It had names of people touched by cancer. And it was folded up in my chest pocket, and every step on the mountain, it was close to my heart as a reminder of why I was actually doing it.
Wow.
It was for myself to prove I can do it, but the deeper purpose was to give other people hope, to help them believe more is possible. So every step on the mountain, I had that flag close to my heart, reminding me why I was there. And then with the other 6 peaks on the 7 summits, I did something similar where I had a flag, and I took that flag to the top of the mountain and wrapped it around the top of the mountain, hopefully, you know, spreading hope around the world.
Yeah, really, really nice. Have goosebumps now.
Yeah.
It really touches your heart when you have a deeper meaning to do good to people, to help other people. And you do this in your organization, Cancer Climber Association. Maybe you can tell us more about your association, what it does, how it helps people, and everything.
Absolutely. So I take a group up Kilimanjaro, the highest mountain in Africa, the highest freestanding mountain in the world, every year as a fundraiser for the Cancer Climber Association. And we give a trip for free to a cancer survivor, you know, all costs covered. And then it's the responsibility of that cancer survivor to raise money, to raise funds for next year's cancer survivor. So it's really interesting seeing the survivor who climbed Kilimanjaro talking to the survivor who's going to climb Kilimanjaro. They have very similar paths. They're both cancer survivors. One has accomplished Kilimanjaro, amazing feat. This one's a little bit nervous, but they become, I don't want to say like a teacher and a student, but that person becomes a mentor for the other person. And they connect on a deeper level because, again, it's not just about the summit, it's about the journey getting there. So it's really nice seeing how someone changes and develops on the way up the mountain.
And this is, let's say, the magic of life, that the path is more important than the goal.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Let's say, I believe your experiences have reshaped your view of life's value, as we said before. What would you like to tell people struggling, let's say, with major life challenges? What are some key steps that they can take to overcome their own fears?
Great question. I would say the first step, after hearing everything that I've done, understand that you're no different than me. You know, my first goal was to crawl 2 meters from the hospital bed to the bathroom. I got tired of vomiting for 36 hours straight. And I found that courage and the strength within me to move forward, one step at a time. So know that we're no different. We're the same. 2, have patience. Know that over time it'll come. It's not going to be magical. It won't just appear. Have patience. But then also have a deeper purpose for why. When I mentioned earlier, I was on the shower floor, my family was one of the things that pulled me up and pulled me out. So find a personal core value of yours that means so much to you that you're going to hold on to that forever and always fight for it.
Yeah, this deeper meaning of your life, why to be alive, to share some great moments with the people you love, you enjoy living with.
Absolutely. And let's hypothetically say I made it to the top of Mount Everest by myself. Self high five. Great. I want someone to celebrate with. You know, going through that, put yourself in. I have never made it to the summit of any significant peak by myself. So I've always had the right team, the doctor's family, everything. Surround yourself by people who care about you and who are going to lift you up. If you're on top of the mountain, reach down and pull somebody else up. If you see someone struggling above you, give them a push. Help out.
Help people. This is the main reason. This is the motivation also, for yourself, to lift others, to help others. so that this world can, let's say, become a better place to live.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not a competition.
Yeah, yeah. But still, people live in this energy. Let's say all the wars running out. How do you see this world? This everything that is happening still on our planet Earth? How do you see this? What can we do to change? Let's say you are an example how to change, but how can we, let's say, do even more to help?
I think the wars come from a closed mindset, where they think there are limited resources and I want it all. Again, that's the ego.
Ego, yeah.
You know, the ego has, in my life, ego has never done anything good. It's always been done for selfish reasons. And where does it get me? Nowhere. You know, you're going to lose friends. You're going to lose support. If you have a growth mindset, knowing that there's more out there, there's enough to be spread around, there's no competition except for competition among within yourself.
Within yourself.
Yeah. So if people relax, if people breathe, if people communicate, I would say that's probably the biggest thing. Communicate, sit down and respect differences. You know, I've seen in the States where people get scared of a different race, a different gender, a different color, whatever it might be. And I think that comes from people not being educated on the differences. You know, if we lived in a world where everyone thought the same and everyone believed the same, that would be a boring world. You know, I love seeing differences. I love seeing the different beliefs. I love seeing the different cultures. But a lot of people are afraid of those. So educate yourself, immerse yourself in a different culture, step out of your comfort zone, and try to learn something new.
Yeah, to get out of the box, let's say.
Absolutely.
Like you say, in America, get out of these
Yeah,
limiting beliefs and everything that you learned about life, because it's really limiting yourself and your greatness and everything you can accomplish in life, let's say, because you're strict to this, what you learned in, let's say, first 7 years of your life. When you're in theta brainwave, you're in hypnosis, let's say, you absorb everything your parents say, everything you hear from your teachers and everyone. So yeah, we are all programmed in our lives. Some have harder programs, some have, let's say, a better basis, let's say. But we all have to work on our issues. We all have something that is, let's say, getting in the way. And to work on this mindset, you work a lot, we set on this winning mindset. What does it mean for you to be a winner? How can people stay focused on their goals, find their inner strength when their challenges are really big?
Again, I think it goes back to finding a deeper purpose, knowing why you're doing it. Because once you find the deeper purpose, you have the inner strength to move forward. Anything that gets in your way will never be enough to stop you, because you have the strength within you to overcome it.
So inner strength, and this is the power.
Absolutely. And again, lose the ego. I can't say that enough, because the majority of people I have seen who have a big ego, they're compensating for something. You know, and I've had friends who have had a giant ego, but inside they're scared little children.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So they project this outer confidence. Just relax. No one's going to judge you. From a non-judgmental standpoint of view, just be yourself.
Yeah, yeah. We'll have a break, so se vidimo torej čez nekaj trenutkov. Lepo pozdravljeni še v zadnjem, tretjem delu naše oddaje Moj odnos do samega sebe, prebujeno srce Slovenije na Ljubljana TV. Z nami nocoj res izjemen gost, Swarner, ki seveda pripravlja nove načrte. Sedaj je, ravno kot sem povedal v napovedniku, v pripravah za naslednji podvig, velika svetovna dirka. So, the Great World Race. What is it? How are you preparing for this next challenge that you... have?
What is it? It's a crazy race. It's a crazy endeavor.
Yeah.
It is running 7 marathons on all 7 continents in 1 week.
Oof.
So it's a lot of running. And how am I training? Running. Instead of taking a car back to the hotel, I should probably run back to the hotel.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's draining. But it's the next step in adventure.
The adventure of life, let's say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And adventure is out there. There's a movie my wife and I love. It's an animated film called Up.
Up.
Yeah. And he always says, adventure is out there. So you have to love it. You have to do it.
Yeah. You have this adventurous spirit in yourself.
Well, the world is it's a big place, and there are a lot of things to see out there.
To experience, let's say, I also believe we are here to experience everything, to, let's say, try things, new stuff, new things. So this is the wonder of life, to experience everything. And then you gain experience, you gain wisdom. Let's say, maybe some words about this. How you gain wisdom with this, all experiences, with your disease, with everything that you do for people, when you help other people, how this changes you, let's say, in a more deeper way.
I would say it's interesting because I've been to almost 70 countries. I've been adopted into a number of tribes and families around the world. One of them is at the foot of Kilimanjaro, called the Chaga tribe. You know, they sacrificed a goat. They brought me into the family, and if you ever have the chance to try the goat lung, pass. It doesn't taste good. I don't like it. So one thing that I've learned is with all these travels, and my wife, when I'm climbing Kilimanjaro for the past 7 years, she supported 100 orphans with food for the year. And what I've learned is no matter how much I try to give to the orphans, the climbers, the clients, and everything else, honestly, if I take a step back, I think I get more from it than they do. So with the orphans, for example, they simultaneously break and fill your heart. And if you're open to these experiences, then it'll change you if you allow it to, if you're open to it. And I think with the travels, I've allowed them to affect me on a deeper core level, and I never expected that.
Sure. So when you see other people, when you see the differences, when you maybe have some challenges, it maybe breaks your heart, but that's how the light gets in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. My heart's broken, but it opens a window to allow things in.
Yeah, and to also spread love to the world, to the people, let's say.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, let's say about this event that we have in 2025, the 12th of October, you come to this event, Večer zmagovalcev, ne? Večer zmagovalcev.
Večer zmagovalcev.
Yes.
Yeah.
What will it be there? How will it look like? Maybe, you know, some details you can say for our people. What will you say? What will you teach people there?
Well, I can't give too much away, but I can say it will be a life transformational experience because we'll be digging deep. It'll help you take the proverbial look in the mirror. You might not like all the answers you see, but it'll give you an opportunity to make tremendous leaps and bounds personally, professionally, you name it.
To go higher, let's say.
To go higher, further, longer. Some people, scuba divers, want to go deeper.
Yeah,
Whatever your analogy is, to get more.
To get more from yourself, let's say, and then more from life. Because
absolutely.
I also think that our life is like we are. And like Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. And this is it. When we change, and if a lot of people on this world would change, we would have a better world here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, all it takes is just to take a time out, look around, see how you can make the world a better place. If you see something that needs to be changed, just take the extra effort and do it. It's not difficult.
Sure. I have another question for you. Maybe it would
I might have another answer. I don't
yeah, it would be maybe interesting. If you could give a piece of, let's say, life advice to your younger self, a teenager facing cancer for the first time, what would it be?
Obviously, to say everything's going to be okay, but if you don't mind, I'm actually going to turn that around.
Okay.
Because I mentioned earlier I had a TED Talk in Prague, and I covered that. And it was interesting because many people they talk about going back in the past and what they'd tell their younger selves. I think the better thought experiment is, what would the future version of you tell you today? Because we can't change the past. But imagine who you want to be a year from now. What would that person tell you right now? That wiser version of yourself, what would they say right now?
Nice.
So if I can flip that, my wiser version would probably tell me to believe in myself. You know, a lot of people on the outside see this confident person who's climbed Mount Everest, who's done that. When I first met my wife, I felt like I was in high school. I had these butterflies in my stomach thinking I should go say something. Well, no, she's not going to like me. I should go say something, but have the confidence and know that everything's going to be okay. Just keep following the path and trust.
Yeah, this is the vision of the future. I also sometimes use it in meditations.
Nice.
To see yourself, let's say, in love, in compassion, in nice relationships, in abundance, let's say, of everything good. And then you really feel it, you really accept it, like it's already there. Because I believe everything is already happened, but we just need this linear time in, let's say, 3D reality so that it comes to that. But everything is here and now, in also spiritual teachings that I know, that I teach. Everything is now. What can you say about this, maybe?
I would agree, and obviously with your degrees and your education, you probably know much better than I do. So I'm sitting here thinking, what can I learn from this guy? He's so full of information. Maybe we should switch. I should ask you questions.
Thank you. Thank you, yeah. But really, everything is experience, let's say. And experience is what counts, let's say, in life. When you have experience, you gain wisdom. And let's say...
I would agree with that. My grandmother, 2 weeks ago, she turned 102 years old. And the wisdom that she has is just beyond my imagination. You know, the way she sees the world is incredible. And we're all capable of it. We just have to believe it. We have to do it for the right reasons. And I think what everybody needs to understand is we all have it within us. You know, everything we need is already within us. We just have to have the right perspective to shift our future.
Yeah, and to activate our full potential.
Perfect word, activate, exactly.
To activate, yeah. Because everything is stored here, but to activate so that this energy comes out. This is the purpose, I guess, of every issue, every challenge we have in our lives, to push us further in life so that we can become this better version of ourselves and to reach the highest potential.
Absolutely. It's not about wishing something's going to happen. It's not about believing. It is about believing, but it's not about wishing and believing something's going to happen. That's the first step. Then you have to take massive action to actually do it. You can't just sit in a corner and say, oh, I want to be a multimillionaire and it's going to come to me. No, go out there and get it.
Yeah, yeah. So action and reaction. Still we live in this world. Yeah, we have to do something so that the result then comes when we take action.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. In America, you have, more this mindset, achieving, doing, you have this. Here in Slovenia, I think some people are not really, we are hardworking, everything, but maybe not enough this positive attitude to life. Not many people are aware how this mindset is important, as we said in our show.
Well, they have to tune into Ljubljana TV and learn more.
Yeah, to learn more, not just look some negative stuff, because television, sometimes it's negative news, everything negative, because I'm really sad to hear this, but some people are really hungry of this negative stuff, because they can then feel a bit better. Oh, I'm not doing so bad than they. I'm okay. Let's say, what can you say about this?
Most people, when they wake up in the morning, they have a routine. And for most people, they probably grab their cell phones because that's their alarm clock. And by habit, they start scrolling through social media, which consumes energy but gives you nothing. It takes and takes and takes. And then when people go to bed, they're probably doing the same thing. They're starting their day on a negative note, ending their day on a negative note. It's not going to get you anywhere. You know, and if we're not careful, if we don't program our own brains, our brains will be programmed for us.
Yeah.
Which works great for people selling you things. You know, they're going to continue making money off of the people who are doing that.
All just scrolling, dopamine addiction, and you're on the race.
And it's hitting the right receptors in your mind, pumping out the proper chemicals to make you feel great. But in the long term, what's it doing? It's giving you instant feel-good feelings.
Instant boost, but on the longer scale, it's
not. Yeah, exactly. Longer scale, it's not good.
Yeah. Sure.
So limit that. Program your brain with positive things. Your mind is very similar to, well, say here, a glass of water. Clean water represents positive thoughts. Dirty water represents negative thoughts. If you have a glass of dirty water and you're constantly putting in clean water, what's going to happen? That's going to be clean. Your mind's going to be clean. You're programming your mind to be like clean water.
Yeah, sure. To put more clean energy, let's say, in ourselves.
Exactly.
To do good stuff, I know, to meditate, to have sports, to walk in nature, to connect with everything good in our life.
But don't, try not to do, and I'm sure you know this too, don't overwhelm yourself.
Sure.
Don't say, oh my God, I have to do these 20 things today. I have to do this. Pick one. Make it a habit. Then pick another one.
Slowly.
Make that a habit. Exactly.
And then, because if you put too much, you will lose motivation maybe, because you will not be successful at the first time. So it's hard,
You get overwhelmed.
Yeah, sure. Okay, let's say for the last question, how can people who are inspired by your story, let's say, connect with your foundation or support your efforts?
That's the easiest question so far. Just go to my first name, last name.com, SeanSwarner.com.
Okay, so
easy.
They can find all the information, everything.
Everything there.
So they can stay connected also with you and everything. Okay, let's say we have 1 minute, some last inspiring, let's say, words, sentences that you would like to say maybe to our people that are watching us on Ljubljana TV.
Last words.
Let's say, the sum up of everything that we said.
I would say the final thing that I'm going to say comes from a very famous quote, Nelson Mandela. It always seems impossible until it's done. And that is so true with anything in the world. Because whether we think we can or we cannot,
we're right. Henry Ford.
Exactly.
If you think we believe it, we are right. If you think we cannot do it, we are also right. So everything is our mindset and our decision to do best we can in our lives.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you. It was a great pleasure, honor having you here on our TV show. Good luck to everything that you do. All the best, and I hope to see you again.
That'd be great. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Hvala torej tudi vam, naše drage gledalke in gledalci, da ste bili tudi nocoj z nami v naši oddaji Moj odnos do samega sebe, prebojeno srce Slovenije. Upam, da vas je ta zgodba izjemnega Seana Swarnerja navdihnila, da naredite morda tudi sami določene spremembe v vašem življenju. Uživajte življenje, ostanite v srcu in se gledamo prihodnjič.